So now, in the middle of this event, it looks like there's a special team that has only one task, which is to kill him, because they knew that he would be in the front rank of the people doing something about it, whereas the other Indian forces, I mean,
now, I want to warn good cops.
I
want to warn good cops and good FBI, like John O'Neill, who they killed in 9/11 and threw in the building. Every time we see an op, even Waco, some cops exposing Clinton that had been state police exposing him who'd gotten a BATF job. You see the BATF go in the window and they climb in and they shoot their own men. So they love to use operations to kill their own people. Inside the operation to tie up loose ends. Go ahead.
And this brings us to the world of where do you get Hindu terrorists? Again, this BJP is the governing party. They'll probably be back in power soon. But then there's this other thing called the RSS, Hindu extreme nationalists, racists, Hindu superiority
the ones
types.
that killed Gandhi because he wouldn't go to war with Muslims.
And I guess the shorthand for this would be Hindu fascism. And what we're getting, you see, Obama is attracting a kind of a fascist international made up of the lunatic Saakashvili, Polish and Ukrainian extremists, and now we're getting Hindu fascists becoming the great friends of the United States. And your future is going to be hostage to a bunch of Hindu fascists under the Indian-U.S. nuclear deal. And that's what this guy Karkare was a threat to that, because he was.
And they didn't just kill him, they killed 4 other chiefs.
His whole staff.
They wiped his whole team out in separate groups. They're all picked out and triple tapped in the chest.
Right. So therefore, the notion the Indian government says, we know who did it, it was Lashkar-e-Taiba. Well, that's a Muslim group, basically a patsy group operating in Pakistan.
And that's trying to kill the Pakistani government. They've been bombing them.
And they get tremendous support from the U.S. and the British, and that's also well known, because that's part of the.
So why would Pakistan control a group that's trying to kill them?
And why would they do this at all? What does Pakistan?
Why, when they're doing peace overtures and have every reason to be friends with India?
And what they're trying to do is to say, look, let's build the oil pipeline from Iran to Pakistan to India.
All right, let's finish up.
And then we get
back,
a common interest.
We're coming back with where you see all this going. Here we go. Final segment. I'll be live this Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Back, of course, live next week. Rebroadcast starts in T-minus 5 minutes, 43 seconds. Webster Tarpley is going to be with me here this weekend until tomorrow, doing some interviews for the Obama film that we are making and about the financial collapse. We're going to go do interviews at the new office after this. One of the last shows here in the old office. You get to see both. We appreciate you being down here, Webster.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
You bet. And, of course, your book's available everywhere. In fact, before we end with where you see all this going, why they want to get the two countries fighting with each other to destabilize the whole region, your new book is available. We've already shown it in the earlier hour. We've had a 3-hour, 40-minute PrisonPlanet.tv show today. That'll be, if you missed any of it, it'll be posted for PrisonPlanet.tv members. By the way, get 5+ months free right now. Here's the Japanese version of his new book, the cover of that. Let me see the Deutsch.
Oop, here's the auf Deutsch. Oop, sofort.
Yeah, I won't put that phone number up. There we go. And there you go. He had a sticky pad on there. And there's the Deutsch issue of his new book, The Postmodern Coup. We sell one of his books on Obama at Infowars.com. Okay, that said, Webster, you got about 3.5 minutes. Go ahead and finish up with where this is going.
Well, it's going to be a new phase of world confrontation. See, the Anglo-American empire is collapsing financially. Everybody can see this, right? What's going on in London and above all New York is a total financial collapse. We seem to be in a phase of deflation and strength of the dollar. But I think this is an illusion, and it's only a passing phase. It's because a lot of people are trying to deleverage. They're trying to pay down debt, which is largely dollar-denominated debt.
Everybody's dumping their assets right now.
Right.
So there's a glut of all commodities.
The hedge funds are in liquidation mode. Everybody's selling to try to get dollars to pay off debt so you don't go bankrupt. But with this $7 trillion and some odd injected, we can, I think, look forward to a phase of hyperinflation in 2009. In other words, we're going through a valley of deflation. We had hyperinflation already clearly beginning in July, August with the oil price, up to 150.
We're now seeing the depression of Main Street in the real economy. There will now soon be an overlay of hyperinflation.
Right. So phase of deflation.
Hyper-stagflation.
Actually, yes, exactly. The worst of both. Hyperinflationary depression, hyper-stagflation. We're going to need a new term. You're exactly right, and that's what we should do. So the point is now, when the Anglo-American banking system and currency collapses, the entire Anglo-American ruling elite goes nuts, and that's what we saw with the Queen. The Queen is expressing that her oligarchy over there are not happy campers. They're going nuts because they've got Northern Rock, they've got Gordon Brown, Alistair Darling at the Exchequer, and Mervyn King at the Bank of England. They're trying to keep this thing together. They can't do it. So they say, we've got to have outside events.
And that's what Rand said, as you know, a month ago, and this was all over foreign press. Rand Corporation said we need a war bigger than Iraq, bigger than Iran. We need something of world war proportions. Right. And Obama says it's going to be Pakistan.
And remember that Brzezinski is the big power at Rand. In other words, if there's a leading ideologue of the Rand Corporation, it's Zbigniew
My
Brzezinski.
God, so they're going to, who knows what they're going to do.
So now look at what we've got. U.S., British, and Israel against the world was bad enough. But now it's U.S., Britain, Israel, plus India, most likely, plus Georgia. That's not much. But
that's showing India never really got away from England. The crown is showing its power again.
Yeah, it's oligarchy. The oligarchy, unfortunately, is based in the religion. That's an unfortunate fact. And then the British occupation. But now, in addition to Georgia, Ukraine split, but Yushchenko wants to go with the U.S. and the British and the IMF and NATO. Poland, reliable NATO puppet. Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia. And we're headed into a Polish missile crisis, and there will be an attempt to cut the Russian gas deliveries from Russia into Western Europe. They got to get an anti-Russian hysteria in Europe.
And that'll be blamed on Russia, even though the West is talking about cutting it off.
Even though it'll be Ukraine and Poland cutting it off and stealing the gas for their own purposes and probably selling it. And you got this thing about the Kaliningrad exclave, right? This little piece of Russia that's separate from the rest. It's basically East Prussia, Königsberg.
Yeah, it's right out on the ocean.
So
hold on. We're out of time, Webster. I have to have you back next week. This is too important. But Webster will be back on the internet streams right now at Infowars.com. He was with us in the first and second hour. So we'll be right back with Webster Tarpley in cyberspace at Infowars.com.
Thank you for listening to GCN.
Good job, Webster.